Currently on 886. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but we're currently on 886 subscribers, and hopefully by the time I post this vlog, this chit chat, sit down, whatever the case is, we would be on 1,000. I want us to be on 1,000 so bad. So yeah, anyway, I can never do mukbangs. I love food, but I can't talk while I'm eating. To actually talk about bipolar, because it has come to my attention that people don't know what bipolar is and how a person like myself can live with bipolar and still live a normal life. So let me just start by giving you guys a brief explanation what bipolar is and the type of bipolar I live with, because there's different types of bipolar. So there's type 1 and then there's type 2. I have type 2, which is much more better. It's still not better, but it's actually much more better than type 1. Type 1 is manic. So when a person has straight on manic episodes and they require hospitalization, that is bipolar 1. They can go through psychosis, they can hallucinate, they just basically just lose their mind, they see things, they hear things, and quite a lot is happening at like on their minds, the brains, whatever the case is. There's just their brain activity is abnormal. So that's bipolar 1. They require hospitalization because they could be, number one, danger to themselves, danger to the community and the people that they live with, and basically they are not supposed to be within the people. So when they go into psychosis, there could be different types of psychosis. It could be spiritual psychosis, it could be whatever the case is. Otolo is just like crazy, thinking aliens are coming. He is a king of somewhere, something. She's the queen of something or somewhere. She's hearing things, people are telling them to go wherever. It's just a lot of things that crumble down to a person that lives with bipolar 1. That's the reason why they require hospitalization, is because of course they cannot be around in Pagati. They are very, very dangerous. That's bipolar 1. Bipolar 2 is what I live with, which is a mood disorder. Bipolar 1 is also mood disorder, but like it just consists of one thing, which is manic. And then I have bipolar 2, which is consists of two things. Now, hypomanic episodes and then depressive episodes. Hypomanic episodes is what people on bipolar 1 live with, but hypomanic is a lesser version of manic. So which means sometimes, well, not sometimes, every person who has a brain and is living, their brain releases two chemicals, which is dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is that reward and motivation side of things, where, you know, you're impulsive, you're on a natural high without any substance intake, and basically you're just functioning on a real high. It's a lesser version of manic, because you're not manic, you're just overly impulsive. Like, you overspend. If you want pizza now, you're gonna go get pizza now. It doesn't matter the time of the day. Like, you can function without sleep. It's like a person that's on drugs, but they aren't on drugs. So that is what hypomania is. It's that chemical called dopamine that is being produced too high, and then it causes you to have hypomania, and then you can do all of these things during being hypomanic, like, you know, going days without sleep, functioning on a real high, and then like obviously you up at 2 a.m. trying to restructure and reconstruct your whole life, and then you're planning on starting businesses that never come to fruition, and then you're obviously like starting some of them actually do start businesses, and then they just leave them like that when they're hypomanic, because hypomanic lasts for anything between like 7 days to 2 weeks. That is you on a high, like you're highly motivated to do things. You can apply for multiple schools, different courses, or whatever the case is, because like you're confident at the fact that you're going to be doing this and you want to do this, and nothing or anyone can stop you from doing it. It's a lesser version of mania, because you're not in psychosis, but you still believe that you are the greatest thing ever, you know? And for a person that's living with bipolar 2, I get those episodes quite a lot. I love those episodes, but they could be quite very dangerous. The reason why I love those episodes is because I leverage on those episodes. Number one, when I'm hypomanic, I get impulsive, right? I get this motivation to do and start things, like, and I get anything I touch with my own bare hands becomes a success if it requires like short-term paying attention to, basically. So for example, let me just show you guys. So I work at a bank, and it's sales. So I work it's call center. It's a sales driven environment. When I'm hypomanic, I'm a top achiever. Let me show you. So when I'm hypomanic, I achieve things like this, you know. I get awards like this because anything I put my hands and my mind into will always come to fruition, because I'm on a high level of dopamine, which is that reward and motivation side of the brain, and nothing and anyone can ever stop me. So therefore I do my work 10 times better than anybody else could do my work. Not only that, I get multiple awards all the time when I'm hypomanic, and I love that state so much. But it's quite dangerous, because if you live in that state, you see, I get awarded, like when I'm in that state for a longer period of time, it could easily turn into manic and I could lose my mind, which is what the medication that I'm currently on for bipolar prevents. Yes. So I will talk about, so these are some of the symptoms that obviously crumbled down to me being diagnosed with a bipolar, because number one, when I'm hypomanic, I do things and I put everything, or I'll go days without sleeping and I still function on high energy. I talk really fast. Yes, right now I'm talking really fast, but that does not mean I'm hypomanic. I am under medication, but like, it's just gotten used to me. I do everything with ease and with confidence and with whatever. That's why I start YouTube channels. And then the second part of being bipolar 2 is those depressive episodes. I don't have anything to show for depressive episodes because mine aren't as severe, but I do have them quite often, more than like you would think. So I could have money in my account, I could be this top achiever or whatever the case is, and then I'd feel some sense of imposter syndrome, that the life that I have does not belong to me. It's not my life, and therefore I crash. And when I crash, I can barely do my work. Not barely do my work as in like I can't go up and go to work. I still go up and go to work, but I just don't give it my all. I do my work because I am employed to do my work. So I just, you know, function on low energy. I don't speak to clients the way I would when I'm hypomania. I would, you know, just really not focus much on my work because I feel like I'm an imposter living in this body. I don't take care of my health. I don't care about anything literally when I'm under depressive episodes. And given that I'm not going to work, best believe I'm not gonna open my curtains. I'm not gonna brush my teeth. I'm not gonna do my bed because I'm gonna be in the bed the whole day. I want it to be as dark as possible. I will not be suicidal, however, when I'm in depressive episodes. However, I will think of my funeral quite a lot. I will take up policies, funeral policies, life covers, whatever the case is, plan for my death, and then write about it and say, hey, if God were to remember me tomorrow, this is how I want everything to be facilitated. Then I know that I'm depressed. I'm not suicidal. I don't have any intentions of taking my life, but I'm preparing for the day that God decides to take my life and how I want it to be planned out. I got to a depressive episode one time and it landed me in almost the psych ward because it was abnormal at the fact that I went to a hospital to ask to sign a do not resuscitate form, and they told me no, you can't do that walking in. You need to do that when you're critically ill, like when you're admitted and all of that, then you can do that. And I was like, well, bummer, because if I were to fall down, I don't want people to resuscitate me or whatever the case is. I didn't know how the resuscitation form is, and now that I'm a happy person or I'm a content person, obviously I want to be resuscitated. I want to live this life. I want to be present. I want to be there when my daughter grows, or whatever the case is. Speaking of my daughter, I also take life covers to protect my daughter when I'm no longer there, like educational plans, what's going to happen when she needs to do this, when I'm not here, all of those things. That's me being under depressive episodes. And if you know, depressive episodes last for anything between, again, 7 days to a week or so. So it's basically a monthly cycle that bipolar II people live with. You get hypomanic for the first 2 weeks, you get depressed for the second 2 weeks. You get hypomanic for the first 2 weeks, you get depressed for the second 2 weeks. And the reason why you get depressive episodes is because of the second chemical that the brain releases, which is serotonin. When that is too low, then that's the sad emptiness, whatever, that kicks in, because your serotonin levels are quite low. You have no desire for anything. Your serotonin levels are very low. But when your dopamine levels are very high, then you get hypomanic. So the reason why I'm explaining this is because I've been going through a lot of my comments on TikTok, because I share about my mental health quite a lot on TikTok, and I'm realizing people thinking Yahlanya, number one. Number two, scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I think I did take a screenshot, and I saw this lady saying, "Yo, umuntu wami bipolar because I missed one of his calls, and then all of a sudden, right?" And then I was like, well, that's not bipolar. People with bipolar are not aggressive. People with bipolar don't have anger issues. Your boyfriend is just plain disrespectful, and you need to find yourself a better man. And also, we really need to destigmatize this thing, Yogoti. People with bipolar are characterized as crazy. No, we're not crazy. We just have a mood disorder, and our bodies cannot regulate emotions or moods the way that they're supposed to. And bipolar episodes are obviously classified when you go into longer periods of depressive episodes and longer periods of reward and motivation, which is hypomania. And that has nothing to do with umuntu because you missed one of their calls. It has nothing to do with being violent or whatever the case is. The minute you become violent, that's not bipolar. That's not bipolar type 2. That's bipolar type 1, which is manic. And nakona, you cannot be hospitalized because you were violent on one episode and then you calmed yourself down and you apologize to that person. That is not bipolar. Bipolar does not happen. You do not get angry in the morning and then sad in the evening. You do not get annoyed or frustrated at 1 p.m. and then angry and violent at 2 p.m. That's not bipolar. I don't know what that is, but it is 100% not bipolar. Bipolar is a mood disorder. Moods that last longer, like 7 to 2 weeks, 7 days to 2 weeks. So obviously I can't be mad in the morning and then I am angry and frustrated and agitated in the evening, and then you classify yourself as having bipolar. No, there are other mental illnesses that you might possibly have, apart from, being disrespectful, being angry and swearing at people. No. So I know I've been yapping for 15 minutes. I don't want to yap for that long, but it does really get to me sometimes when people refer to other people as being bipolar, not knowing what bipolar is and how it works and how a person like myself could live with bipolar. And also, guys, stop the stigma and stop saying, yeah, it's always the pretty ones, or it's always, the ones we never think of. No, it's just a mood disorder. That's why we take a ton of medication. My medication is not here right now. It's in my bedroom. We take a ton of medication to regulate our moods and make sure that our body produces both these two chemicals, which is dopamine and serotonin, on equal level amounts so that we can be able to get to an equal space. And people with bipolar do know when they're on episodes, and they do know when they're normal, and they do know when they're depressed. By episodes, I mean hypomania, of course. So they do know that, and they don't need you to remind them all the time because they know they're going to snap back out of it. Therefore, please, guys, let's tread carefully when using these words. We are a new generation. We're not supposed to stigmatize things that we know people are living with, and they're trying their level best to actually, fight and, fight and live, a normal life, even with bipolar. One would ask, how did I find out I had bipolar? Well, yeah, I went to multiple therapists, and the last therapist was like, girl, you need to see a psychiatrist. I saw a psychiatrist. Multiple sessions after a psychiatrist, we determined that yes, I did have bipolar, and then we needed to sort that out. Because 1 minute I'd attend a session with high moods, and then the next minute I'd attend a session and I'd be like, oh God, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, why am I doing this? You know? Yeah, and a lot of other things that did compile to me being diagnosed with bipolar, apart from the impulsivity or the depressive episodes or whatever the case is. It's quite a lot. Yeah, they did take blood results. Yes, you cannot pick up bipolar from blood results, but the reason why they took blood results was blood tests. Why am I saying results? The reason why they took blood tests was to determine if my condition was not being caused by any hormonal imbalances or any chemical imbalances in my body. And no, everything was okay, everything was good. So it obviously crumbled down to it being a mental condition which cannot be diagnosed on one session, or you taking blood results or blood tests. You can't. You need to attend therapy. You need to, And then yes, my bipolar is hereditary. Ufuzo ingilithathe ekhaya kithi. My mom lives with it. My grandmother lives with it. I don't know who else in my family lives with it, but that's the nearest generation I can pinpoint it to. And yes, it did come to me eventually, or I ended up living with it eventually, because they lived from it. So let me not brag. Yes, yeah, guys, guys. There's still quite a lot to talk about, but I don't want to talk too much. I already have spoken for 18 minutes long. Let's not do it. Not on this channel. We vlog here. We do nice things. So yeah, let's cut this conversation here. I'm going to continue eating, and then I'm going to go back to work. And I will see you guys a little bit later on. Hopefully, if I cook today, I'm going to cook with you guys. And then whatever routine I have at night with my kids, my husband, I will show it to you. So I'll see you on the next clip. Okay. Period. Bye.